Do you love Chip and Company podcast? Be sure to head over to chipandco.com for even more Disney Parks news, entertainment, and review podcasts. Chip and Company has been delivering the best in Disney news, planning tips, and more since 2009. And now you can get that news in an audio-only format, now 5 days a week. Every Monday, join Marc and Greg for Diz Life Podcast and start your week off the right way by living your best Disney life. Tuesday is our news and review podcast discussing the latest breaking news from the Walt Disney Corporation. Every Wednesday, we're discussing the best of Disney parks with Chip and Greg. Thursdays have Marc and Greg breaking down the top headlines of the week in And Company, a weekly news roundup. And don't forget to tune into Extra every single weekend where we give you a deep dive on the biggest topic of the week. Get that extra dose of Disney in your weekly commute, your time on the treadmill, or even just relaxing around the house. So what are you waiting for? Head over to chipandco.com today and become part of the fastest growing podcast network in the Disney community. We hope that you enjoyed today's podcast, and thank you for being a part of our podcast family. And now, two guys whose bags are packed and leaving on a jet plane, headed to D23 in Anaheim, Greg the Disney fanatic, and Diz Life Marc.
Ahoy, hoy, everyone, and welcome to And Company. Welcome to our weekly review of the top headlines from chipandco.com as we dive deeper into the topics that continue to garner your love and your attention. Thank you for being part of our show here on the Chip and Company Podcast Network. Please do not forget to subscribe and be a part of the fastest growing podcast network in the Disney community, where you can now get a daily dose of Disney, Marc, 5 days a week. On today's podcast, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about Candlelight Processional in Epcot, maybe returning, surfing in Disney Springs, a Disney princess has been arrested, and the end of the Walt Disney World 50th anniversary. I will be bringing you the Rushmore of the week. Marc will be delivering the spicy hot take of the week. And of course, as always, we will spend some time trying to figure out where in the world has Mr. Chip Comfort disappeared to this week. Before we get to the headlines, let me welcome once again my co-host here of And Company and purveyor of Diz Life Podcast, Mr. Marc Valentine. Marc, how are you doing today, my friend?
I am doing wonderful, sir. Are you literally packed? Because my bags are packed and I am ready to go west.
I have 3 bags already packed. I just have to throw in that day's underwear.
This time next week, we will be on the precipice of flying westward. How do you feel, in a word, about your first sojourn to D23? Describe what is your emotions right now.
Super explosion, boom. I don't have words, Marc. I'm so excited.
Is that from Mary Poppins 3?
That is.
Super explosion, boom.
Yes, that is officially a Disney term now. We coined that a few years ago. Disney Imagineers have been using it for a while now. I am, Marc, in a word, I don't have one word. That's how excited I am. You and I, on day one, let's get this out in the open here, we'll be spending the day in your favorite land of the Disney.
Yes, we will be going to Disneyland. We both fly in on Thursday. The D23 begins on Friday, so it's Friday through Sunday. So we have a travel day, and we're not just going to take advantage of that travel day, but we're going to have a little fun at the tail end of it. You're going to get to go back to Disneyland for the first time in a long time. And then I think at the tail end of the conference, when all is said and done, we're going to celebrate and cap that with our, we're going to have one more trip over to Disney's California Adventure. So I'm excited for you to see the light.
I get to do a 5 podcast recap of the Disneyland experience that I'm about to have?
I'll allow it as long as you have nothing but glowing things to say. Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, check out Diz Life Podcast. Marc did an amazing recap of his vacation earlier this year over to Disneyland DCA, and what an amazing experience we had over there. But Marc, today we are going through the top 4 news articles at the Chip & Co. website, So please, my friend, start us off today.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, these are the headlines that you are clicking on and you are talking about. So let's get right into the top 4 headlines. And let's face it, it may be August. We may be in the midst of Halloween season approaching, but people are turning their eyes already, Greg, to the holidays and to Epcot's Candlelight Processional, which is going to be returning to Walt Disney World for this Christmas holiday season. As many of you know, the Candlelight Processional is returning to Walt Disney World for the Epcot International Festival of the Holidays. This holiday season, the processional features a full choir along with the Voices of Liberty, a cappella group singing iconic Christmas songs alongside a celebrity narrator who reads from the Bible and reads the biblical Christmas story. The Epcot International Festival of the Holidays returns to Epcot on November 25th, along with the Candlelight Processional. The dates and celebrity narrators have not yet been announced. Stay tuned for that. Yet the event typically runs from just after Thanksgiving to around December 30th of 2022. Past celebrity narrators have included the likes of Neil Patrick Harris, or NPH, as we lovingly call him here at Chip and Company, the one and only Jodie Benson, who just sat down with us this week to talk about her brand new book, and Greg's linguistic challenge of pronouncing the one and only Auli Cravalho, aka Moana, who I had a chance to see this past season. This year's narrators will be announced at a later date, so stay tuned to Chip and Company as we will bring you the names of those narrators as they are released by Disney. Are you excited for this event? I love this event. It's Christmas to me. Are you equally as excited as I to see that this fan favorite is returning?
I am. Okay, so I've seen this years ago, and I saw Whoopi Goldberg as the announcer and the one who read from the passages, and it was spectacular. This is the one event that it gets me into the season. It gets me into the holiday season. It makes me realize why we celebrate this, the Christmas holiday. It's magical on top of magical. It's everything you wanted it to be. 2 things I want to mention here, Mark. The reason I think this did so big as an article this week is people want to plan ahead accordingly. You want to come down here during Christmas time when Festival of the Holidays returns to Epcot, normally around November 18th or the 25th, sometime in that time frame. You want to go and see this. And a lot of people schedule their Christmas vacation or their holiday vacation here at Disney World, revolving around whether it is, what's his name, Neil Patrick Harris, whatever the initials you give him here at Chip & Co.
NPH.
I will tell you, Mark, this kind of, and I'm really hoping this happens this year. After reading Miss Jodie Benson's book, Part of My World, she mentioned how magical it was to go to Epcot and do Candlelight Processional every year that she's been able to do it. So now I have a vested interest after reading her book that I would like to be there for the night that Jodie Benson does Candlelight Processional.
I feel like you should go to see Auli Cravalho, if only to just hear her name pronounced several dozen, if not more times, so that you can practice it. I want to see you sit in front of a Auli Cravalho, right? I just want to see you sit in front of a mirror. I feel like you owe it to Moana, dude, just to do that.
The problem is I will just scream, I am Moana, over and over again, as I've done many times in the past.
Speaking of which, the manner with which you eliminated her from said tournament that we just held this week, we had the Royal Princess tournament to cap off Princess Week on Diz Life Podcast, was equally epic. So we again, stay tuned as those names are released. I'm sure that headline will continue to garner more and more attention as people truly love Epcot International of the International Festival of the Holidays, as we do as well. I don't know if I'm going to be coming this year. We have so many trips planned to Walt Disney World. We might be skipping the Christmas season this year. My wife, however, may just go just to do the Christmas party. I don't know if I'll be there, but Linda will.
We hope that if she comes down, she will have friends to go with if she needs somebody to go on those nights with her.
Yeah, Linda will definitely be there with you and Holly and Auli Cravalho.
Or Miss Jodie Benson.
But you know who else wanted to be under the sea?
Who is that, Mark?
This guy at Disney Springs, Greg. What happened over there?
This is crazy, Mark, and I don't know if this was a Facebook or Instagram or influencer stunt or my man just needed a bath. One or the other, because I hope that you guys go over to the Chip and Company website and check out the picture of my man who attempted to go surfing in the water fountain at Disney Springs. Listen, let's just read for a second here. So a man attempts to go surfing in a water fountain at Disney Springs. Weird stories from Walt Disney World don't seem to surprise us anymore, Mark. We have talked about this many times. Here is another one that happened at Disney Springs just yesterday. A man was caught in the fountain with a surfboard. Twitter user Michael Sheehy shared the above picture with the caption, "Lime Garage at Disney Springs is so lit today." It appears a man was approached by Disney Springs security while he was standing in a fountain with a surfboard. The fountain is located near the Lime Garage and obviously right near Ron John's surf shop. We do not know exactly what this man was trying to accomplish. We can only assume it had something to do with social media. I've seen this picture, Mark. My man's got binoculars around his neck, a leather backpack on, no shirt, dreads, and a surfboard in his hand standing in the fountain.
Was his name Johnny Utah?
It was if Johnny Utah had a little bit thicker of a mane of hair, the answer would be yes.
Was he trying to infiltrate a group of bank robbers known as the Presidents of the United States of America?
I don't think that man could spell any of those words.
Was Patrick Swayze seen in and or around the scene of the crime?
No, nor was his ghost.
Okay, so then it was not Point Break. Yeah, I know that Patrick Swayze is no longer with us.
I know you did, but it was funnier to say that.
It was a good joke.
Thank you.
Is it too soon? I thought it was a good joke. I love Patrick Swayze.
Listen, I'm sure you've seen this picture. I don't know. We don't know whether it was an influencer thing or not. First off, because it happened near Ron John, I'm inclined to believe that the man got the surfboard from Ron John's surf shop. We don't know how he got one. First off, if he did that, that's fine. If he brought it with him, how did he get through security with said surfboard and no shirt on? And there's something about this that is really, really funny to me, Mark. And then something about it that really is not funny to me.
Like funny haha?
Yeah, like a clown.
Do I amuse you, Greg?
You do, sir.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. I am not laughing. I am not laughing. As a matter of fact, I'm feeling kind of spicy about it, Greg. So I don't know if I should really talk about it at this juncture in time. Maybe we'll revisit it a little bit later on, if that's acceptable.
I am cool with revisiting, but listen, stay out of the fountains.
Please.
We've already had one TikToker this year drinking from the fountains, and yet his TikTok blows up to 500,000 people. Oh. And oh my God, the world is so great because he drank from the Disney World fountains.
He's also permanently banned from Disney property. That wasn't the only bad behavior that TikToker exhibited, and he is no longer welcome on Disney property.
I would imagine
he had some run-ins.
Let's call this man the Disney Springs Surfer.
Yeah,
that he is now has a backstory.
Johnny
to be a
Utah.
villain.
We will call him henceforth. You shall be Darth Vader. No, he shall be Johnny Utah. Just because it's a Point Break reference, and I feel like we need more Point Break references in the world today.
That's fine. I think we'll pick this back up in a few minutes on this show.
Sounds good.
In the meantime, let's just move on because, yeah.
Well, so this person had a run-in with Disney security, but let's talk about a Disney princess, a real Disney princess who had a run-in with the law, Greg. So if people have not yet seen this, many of our readers have, and again, this was our third most popular article of the week. But it appears that on August 19th, the actress Irene Bedard was arrested for disorderly conduct in Ohio. Reportedly, police responded to an incident where they witnessed between Bedard and an unidentified woman and arrested Irene after she refused assistance and walked out into the street screaming, without any regard for traffic and seemingly her own life. The police report also stated Irene had a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage on her breath. Additionally, the officer wrote, when asked if she drank anything today, she said that she didn't, but she did say that she drank a whole bottle of vodka yesterday. I attempted to try to get her to give me a name of someone who could come and care for her. She would not give the officer anything. I offered to take her to the hospital, but she said the hospital wouldn't help her. So very sad. This does make me sad because it appears that she does need to get some kind of help. Again, we don't know the full story of the incident, but obviously when there is something where the police and the authorities are called, it's going to be on public record. It's going to be run in the press. It appears that the troubled actress really needs to get some help. And I hate reading things like this because you never know what is kind of at the root of all of this that's going on. But people were very surprised to see that the voice of Pocahontas is getting into a little legal trouble.
So I'm going to go on and say that there was actually a little bit more to all this, too. They had tried multiple times to calm her down and to basically calm the situation down and get her home safe and sound without having to arrest her. So the police really did the best they could in this situation. Mark, it's really easy for us to make jokes and to mock this situation.
Oh, I'm not going to do that.
No. I'm not saying you did. I'm not saying anybody did. Even I had a light tone to this. And then I think back, and I'm going to be very honest here, Mark. I've struggled with addiction in the past in my own life. I was able to overcome it 10, 15 years ago. So when I see somebody who is in the throes of addiction, and we don't know if it was just alcohol or pills and alcohol or whatever can lead to incidents like this or whatever is going on, she obviously needs real help.
Yeah.
She needs a friend to reach out to her and pull her back from the brink that she's on. When you are this deep into things, you can't see the light. You can't figure out how to get out of this on your own. And it just becomes darker and darker and a worse situation. So
yeah, listen, it's my hope that this is a real eye opener for her and that this is that event that kind of pulls her back from that ledge, because you and I have seen now countless times with Hollywood personalities and A-listers and famous personas that, you know, they didn't stop and they didn't pull themselves back, and, you know, it cost them their lives or the lives of others and ruined, you know, family lives. I mean, listen, we don't talk about it because it's not here on the show, but I mean, look at former A-lister Anne Heche and what happened with her just a few weeks back. I mean, it's very sad to see the throes of addiction and to see it play out with these very highly visible personalities and these personages. But, you know, if you know someone who needs help, again, like, get them help and reach out. This is very sad to see this play out publicly, but our best wishes go out to this individual. And, you know, we hope that Miss Bedard is going to get the help that she needs, man. So very sad. And our readers were transfixed with this article, and I'm sure that many of them wish her well as well. Very sad, man.
Very sad, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yes.
Because, yeah, wow. Now, on to news of the lighter, and this is where we're going to have a great discussion here, Mark, I hope.
Yes.
Also, I'm putting a lot of pressure on us on this one article. So the biggest article over at Chip & Company for the past week, 25,000 people have clicked on this article, read this article, commented on this article. We have, Mark, an official end date to the Walt Disney World 50th anniversary. As you and I, and through talking over the past few months, have speculated that the end date of the Walt Disney World 50th anniversary will be on March 31st, 2023, a mere few months from now. The official start date was back in October 1st of 2021, and it was an 18-month celebration. We knew it was going to end at the end of March. Disney had never just put it out there that it is ending. So we're not exactly sure what will end after March 31st, but it's safe to assume that any special 50th anniversary entertainment, costumes, food and beverages, offerings, and decorations will end and probably be removed overnight as the way Disney does things. Marc, I've been in love with the 50th anniversary. We've gotten some major things during it. Are you excited or are you sad to see this end on March 31st next year?
While I'm definitely not happy about it, it's fun to see the celebration of 50 years of Walt Disney World. I am excited because I also know that with the end of this celebration, it makes way for something different and something new. Disney is always celebrating something. And, even it's like, to use an example, even when it's not your birthday at Disney, it's your birthday. Like everybody goes and grabs those pins. How many people are truly wearing those pins on the actual day? Very few.
Me?
But
I wear
Disney,
it only on one day a year.
Yeah, Disney has that phrase, very merry unbirthday. Disney is going to have an event that they're going to follow up with. We know that Tron is on the horizon, and I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of hoopla that's going to surround the opening of Tron and the expansion of Tomorrowland. The Disney company is going to be celebrating 100 years. So I would anticipate that being celebrated not only at Walt Disney World, but also at the Disney parks and Disneyland. So there's a lot of great stuff on the horizon that I know that even though we're going to be bidding adieu to 50, all good things come to an end, Greg. This too. And the only thing that I'm curious is what's going to happen to the 50th statues. And are we going to get something to replace them? And that makes me excited. Since I've done the 50th statues, I want something new. I want another quest. I want Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom to come back. I want something, because they're going to supplement it. They're not just going to take away one of the two things you can do with the Magic Band Plus. And I'm excited to see what is next and what's on the horizon. So I'm not celebrating that the 50th is over, but I'm also excited to see what we get next.
Thank you for answering the future question. Now, how excited were you on October 1st of last year when this
Not at all.
Event started? Were you down here?
No, I wasn't at all. I was sitting in my office making TikToks in a sullen fashion, watching everyone else celebrating and getting the opening day merch and being there for the opening of the celebration. And there I was sitting in my office watching TikToks and YouTube, crying to myself, and then getting into the fetal position in the corner, just feeling miserable for not having booked a park day on October 1.
I was there, my friends.
I know you were.
And I did not get a park pass until later that day because they didn't release annual passes until September of last year. So I couldn't book that day, and you couldn't buy a ticket for that day. It was really hard to get. I do remember opening day. I remember going to the Contemporary to try Steakhouse 71, which was just one of many things that they brought out, and trying to park at the Contemporary, and they're like, no, you have to go park at the TTC, and then taking an hour from the TTC, taking the monorail around, and how packed it was. But every time the monorail would stop, there was characters out on the monorail. So I saw Goofy and Donald on one monorail, Pluto and the Chipmunks at another monorail stop. It was so magical. Everything about that was magical. I do want to mention one or two things. Leading up to the 50th anniversary was magical for me. It's how I learned to take photos in the park. It's how I learned how to work with Chip at Chip & Co. To get to this point we're at now. It was really, really nice to be in the Magic Kingdom watching the transformation happen and how wonderful the park looked. When the 50th anniversary opened up, and I said this days before it opened, Fantasyland looked like it was brand new. There was fresh paint everywhere. The carousel was gleaming. There was gold everywhere. It just looked so gleaming and magical, and I felt like a child every time I walked through Fantasyland. So the 50th anniversary did some major improvements to Walt Disney World. It made Magic Kingdom look wonderful. I'm really happy that this event happened. I'm going to be very sad when it ends because it means something to me personally. So seeing a real end date was like, oh,
Now it's time for us to live healthy so we could see 75.
Right. Now it's time to stop eating all those cupcakes and special snacks. And I got to make it to 75, Mark. I have to make it to 75. But you know what starts this year? Next year in October will be the 100 years of the Walt Disney Company. And you and I both know that they are going to do something magical for that.
1,000%. They're not going to miss that opportunity to celebrate that landmark achievement. So I think we're going to be the benefactors of that celebration. So
yeah.
And I know another person who's really excited for that news, and that would be Chip. Chip, so Chip's like on really a scale excited. Of 1 to 10, how excited are you for the 100th? Dude, where's Chip?
Oh, Mark, when last we saw Chip, we had gone on a rescue mission to save him from the Dementors in New York City from last week. And I got to say, what an adventure we had. I'm telling you, my friend, books will be written about our adventure and for future generations to behold the story that was you and I saving Chip. But when he boarded the plane, apparently we stowed him in the bins and forgot to take him out. So unfortunately, he's in the lost luggage somewhere en route back to
Didn't we put an air tag on him? Don't we know where he is right now? So he's just floating around in the luggage of Delta Airlines somewhere?
My bad. I used that tag on my broom.
Nice. All right. Do we have the broom at least?
Yes.
Okay. Well, when we finally get in touch with him, you can at least offer the broom to him as sort of a olive branch and say, "Hey, we lost you, but guess what? We have the broom. Here's
a broom." Hopefully, we will hear from Chip next week, Mark. Yeah, man.
I love it. And that has been Where in the World Has Chip Confer Gone? Thank you to him, as always, for placing his trust in us to hold down the fort while he gets lost somewhere in the ether week after week. We are eternally grateful to him here at And Company. All right, my friend, it is time for the weekly Rushmore. Every single week, got Greg and myself.
We can't believe we lost him. We're so embarrassed.
What are the top 4 places that Chip has gone? That's the Rushmore of the week. No, but every single week, we will be breaking down the top 4 items from some random list and some random Rushmore that is determined at the day of the recording. This week, Greg is up with his random Rushmore of the week. Greg, are you ready, my friend? Soundbite is ready to catch you whenever you're set. Tell us, what are we doing this week in our random Rushmore of the week?
Mark, thank you so much. As you know, we just discussed the ending of the Walt Disney World 50th anniversary, and it's been announced for March 31st of 2020. There's many 20s in there, and so a 2 20s. And another 2. We're just going to keep going on that. I wanted to put my top 4 things from the WDW 50th anniversary. There are things that may stick around after the 50th ends. Some may go away. But what an amazing event it has been over the past 18 months. Now, listen, Mark, I will not bring us down by mentioning anything in my honorable mentions list, which I had. And really, it was just filled up by Kite Tales. Instead, Mark, they ruined that show. They ruined Kite Tales on me, Mark. Why would they go and ruin Kite Tales? Do you know how magical that could have been? I also, Mark, will not mention Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind because no matter what list that goes on, it will always be number 1. So let us bring some positivity now. Here are my top 4 things from the Walt Disney World 50th anniversary. I will be starting at number 4, Mark. This is my top 4. You may not argue any of this. You may just accept that this is my top 4. So, from the Walt Disney World 50th anniversary, top 4 things to come from it in the most magical way. Number 4, Mark, is harmonious. What is there to really say about this nighttime spectacular? From the international versions of Disney classics to how the show is a technological masterpiece. I really don't know if it's Coco that gets me during the show or Tiana singing and getting the crowd moving. It could be when the fireworks come out from around the world showcase towards the giant water tacos out there. But everything about this show is Disney to me. Especially, and I mean this, especially at the end when Disney does The Magic is Calling, which happens about 5 to 10 minutes after the fireworks end. This truly, to me, is the greatest way of ending a magical day at Walt Disney World. Number 3, Beacons of Magic. What an amazing thing to see all the icons at Walt Disney World lit up, whether it's Cinderella Castle, whether it's Tower of Terror over in Hollywood Studios, the Tree of Life in Animal Kingdom, or more specifically, Spaceship Earth. Spaceship Earth, and they're considered the world's most magical celebration, will light up with wonder as the theme park icons are transformed into beacons of magic, beckoning all to come and celebrate. To me, Mark, though, it comes down to Spaceship Earth. Lights shine from within Spaceship Earth's reflective panels as stardust emerges to symbolize beacons of possibility and optimism. Mark, we have seen them change the beacon throughout different festivals. We got to hear Kermit the Frog singing Rainbow Connection. We heard Pocahontas doing Colors of the Wind. Now they're doing Beauty and the Beast. It is a masterpiece. I remember the first time I saw that ball lit up coming home for the Magic Kingdom just about 3 nights before the 50th anniversary media night, and I almost crashed my car. It was lit up so beautifully and so wonderful that I fell in love with it that moment. So number 3 is the Beacons of Magic. Now, number 2, Mark, this is a special thing that happened for the 50th. It will be sticking around for a little while after it, but I want to mention Drawn to Life. Drawn to Life is an overlooked show that a lot of people do not realize came around during the Walt Disney World 50th anniversary. I think it opened probably in November, I think was the opening day. But the show itself feels like we're living in a dull world full of drab colors. It proceeds to get brighter and more vivid as the show progresses. The technology of the scenes, the surround sound, moving lights, the set pieces all play an integral part of the storytelling. I really could go on for hours about the overwhelming feeling of nostalgia and awe watching these performances and the performers, not including that it is a Cirque du Soleil show, so you get some of the most athletic and gifted performers and artists there are. For Disney's part, they have some brand new animation sequences that were made especially for Drawn to Life. At Cirque du Soleil, cameos by some of Walt Disney Animation's biggest and most well-known characters. You'll definitely know you are at Walt Disney World watching this show. Holly and I were on hand at the first show ever, sat next to John Stamos and Jeff Volley, along with many other celebrities. We walked away from that show, Mark, with one common thought, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. This show is the most Walt Disney thing at Walt Disney World.
And that's just the 50th? That's not going to continue?
The show was brought around for the 50th anniversary. It probably, like I said, I think this show is going to continue further after the 50th. But it's considered was part of and brought around for the 50th anniversary. So,
cool.
We'll see. I do believe it's going to continue on. My number one, Mark, the number one thing that I got out of the 50th anniversary is the song, You Are the Magic. I have heard this song, and it truly, and I mean this, has lived in my head rent-free since September 8th of 2021 when it was released. I've heard this song done in so many ways, from the Dapper Dans doing it and as a barbershop version, to the piano player over at Casey's, to the electric water pageant retro version, to just regular singing it, to the stage shows. I hear this song every day, 5 or 6 times, all the time. I've seen this performed live at Destination D23 when all the characters came up on stage and got into the audience and danced and fireworks were going off and confetti. I'm telling you, Mark, I truly had tears in my eyes because of this song, and I felt like I was in something special while that happened. Originally, the song is sung by Philip Lawrence and Kayla Alvarez. It's a quick hitting. It's 2 minutes long, but it's so dang good and so catchy. I'm telling you, with a smile on your face and a song in your heart, this is where you are meant to be, because you, my friends, are the magic. That is my top Rushmore.
Well done, my friend. You have thoughts. I cannot debate them. What I will say is I don't entirely agree with all of them, but they are yours. That is your random Rushmore. It was pretty awesome, pretty interesting, putting a nice cap and a nice bow on the 50th, as we know now definitively that it's going to end at March 31st. What a wonderful way to look forward at all of the great things that the 50th has given us. And it was such a positive Rushmore this week, because I feel like I'm about to take us into the depths with my spicy hot take of the week. Every single week, we have an editorial section called our spicy hot take of the week, where either Greg or myself bloviate on a topic for anywhere from 30 seconds to more on something that is really grinding our gears. My spicy hot take, Greg, I will tell you, is also inspired by one of our headlines this week. And if you listened earlier, you know that we did definitely shortchange Point Break over at Disney Springs, because I am firing hot on this thing.
I've been waiting to hear this all night. I could tell you were hot when you texted me earlier this morning as I'm going on Guardians of the Galaxy. You're like, I have my spicy hot take. And I was like, oh, must be good if you have thought of it this early. Look, it's your thoughts.
Yeah.
We will talk about them when you are done. So, my friend, I give to you the floor for this week's spicy hot take.
Ladies and gentlemen, take the milk out, unpack the antacids, because, Greg, I'm fired up this week about bad guest behavior. As we discussed earlier, Point Break happening over at Disney Springs is just the latest in a long line of poor behavior from park goers. We've seen similar incidents this week, and if it was just Point Break, man, I might be like, oh, another silly thing. Woman jumps off a boat to get a cucumber. But here's the problem. We had similar incidents this week with a family climbing over a fence and posing with Remy in Epcot. We had a TikToker jump into the scenery at the exit of Space Mountain just for a picture and for clout. While this is certainly not the first instance of guests behaving badly, I feel the frequency and the severity of these are reaching a point. As a community, we have to do something about it now, because it's going to ruin the experience for all of us. When the barriers go up over at Space Mountain, or when things get taken away, I feel like the community always is so quick to blame management for ruining the magic. But we are the ones who are ruining the magic, because they need to enact these measures. They enact these measures to prevent ignorant people like this from behaving badly or from doing stupid stuff just to get 15 minutes of fame and clout. We have become so obsessed. I'm throwing all of us in this. Like, I am casting the blame on all of us on social media, on everyone that's here in the Diz Talk community, everyone that's here on the Disney side of Instagram. We collectively have become so obsessed with standing out online, on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, going bigger and better and being the creator who gets clout, that we have now started to push the limits and the envelope past where it should be. So I place the blame solely on us as the community, and we need to start taking responsibility for these people. That you can look at these headlines and you can look at these people and you can pass judgment and say, well, you know, that person's silly or that person is behaving badly. But it's our fault, because we are so obsessed with virality on TikTok. We are so obsessed with being Disney creators, so much so that the bad behavior has become commonplace because these people are trying to outdo us. It's not enough to just go and take pictures anymore. We have to have the picture at the most rarest of landmarks. And so we climb fences and we break past barriers and we go backstage. We have to do stuff that's like, yeah, that guy's funny, but I want to be funnier. So we drink from fountains and we surf over in Disney Springs. If people continue to push this envelope, we're going to see more restrictions on live streamers, on vloggers, and you can't blame these people. We have ourselves to blame because we have become so obsessed with the community that we are trying to just emulate and go bigger or go home. And the thing is these people, let's not beat around the bush. They are going home. They are now banned. And so this is going to lead to more people being banned from parks. But more importantly, it's going to lead to more restrictions on us. And if we don't do something about it, if we don't self-police, then the guest experience is going to continue to get worse. And live streamers and vloggers are going to continue to get more and more brazen in order to stand out and build a brand, as much as I hate to say that, for themselves. Let's start to use this as a moment of reflection to really reflect on why are we in the parks? It's not for us. And I know, Greg, you just said you are the magic. I think some people take that way too much to heart. You are ruining the magic for everyone, that the parks are a shared experience. And before you do these stupid things, you need to think to yourself, why am I doing this? And is this the best decision of using whatever gifts I have in my life is to do stuff like this? I am so mad. I am so hot and bothered by this, Greg. Like I wouldn't have enough time. Like I could do a full podcast on the behavior of guests and how it is getting progressively worse and worse and worse. And I fear that with 3 incidents in a week, this is just, again, the tip of the iceberg of stuff that is to come with people behaving badly. Breath.
Breathe.
Sorry.
Breathe. No, I am with you. I completely understand. Here's a few questions for you. Okay. So how do we stop? Let's try and be a little positive here. How do we try and stop
the community? Like the people that are on TikTok, Greg, like the people that are the stars, the people that are the vloggers. And I'm not talking about like the people that play within the guidelines. Everyone will clap at people that have Disney media. But here's the thing. People that have Disney media don't do this because there's something at stake. There are people out there that their perception is, if I do something big enough, if I get big enough, if I get in a big enough splash, that I'm going to be welcomed in. But Disney's going to look at the way and the manner with which you got that fame. There's a reason that some of the biggest TikTokers on earth are not being asked to come into the fold. And it's because Disney knows the way that they built their clout, it does not have, like, it's not the behavior that Disney condones. And I feel like that those people who are pushing the envelope, them specifically, need to go online and tell people that watch them, like, all right, guys, enough. Like, you know what? And I'm going to self-police. I'm going to call myself out here. I'm going to self-edit and I'm going to reflect. This was really stupid of me to do this. And I'm really sorry. And I apologize to the cast and I apologize to management. Please don't do this. I'm taking the video down. I'm embarrassed by this. I'm embarrassed by this behavior. When we start to self-police those kind of things on TikTok and Instagram, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say it's mostly TikTok because TikTok is where virality is. But once we start to self-police, I think a lot of people who are trying to follow suit are going to go, you know what? Like, this guy told me this wasn't cool. And they have a lot of power and a lot of responsibility to take it down a few notches, man. You're always going to have dumb people. Let's face this.
Yes, you're always going to have those kings. Listen, I'm tired of people like that being the main character in my story. Like, you're not the main character. I don't care who you are. I think it comes down to you have to stop interacting with people who are doing that. Stop even going on there and being like, I hate this stuff. It shouldn't have. No, it should come from the whole group as a whole going, look, this person did something wrong. We follow the rules.
Disney needs to also start to be stern with them.
Yes. So I'm trying to play in certain boundaries on this one. Disney will never give you media and never give you that next level if you sat around and bashed Disney or did something wrong or steered your guests in the wrong way.
Many of them also don't want it, Greg. Let's face it.
And that's fine. That's fine. But you're also, listen, we don't own Disney. Okay.
They have more clout. Yeah, but they have more clout and they don't need to be first because they can get it on the second.
They need Disney.
They do. But if these people, and let's face it too, some of the bona fide stars on these social media platforms are not the ones that are exhibiting the worst behavior.
No, because you look at the top YouTube, look at the top Instagram, look at the top people, they follow within a certain guideline and boundary, and they respect what we're doing. Look, and again, this is what I was about to say is we're all living off of Disney's dime. Disney owns Disney. We don't own Disney. We are using their intellectual property.
It's private property.
Their
they own
stuff
it.
To make this content. And they are the ones who can go, yes, keep doing what you're doing, or
turn it off. Yep, or
and
turn it off.
The problem is when are they going to have enough where they're like, you're interfering now with other people's vacations, and now it's going to affect our bottom line because you are ruining the magic.
I do think
and we are going to be caught in the crossfire because then we are going to lose access to filming or going, and I'm not talking about going live, but just being able to photograph stuff or be in the park with the camera out. Like, what's the end game here?
Well, here's the end game. It's going to take, again, somebody's going to do something stupid recording on a roller coaster. And then you know what Disney's going to do? Disney is going to turn into Universal. Guess what? Now your phone, it's going in a locker. And we're going to install lockers that if you're going on this ride, there's the row of lockers that you have to go put your stuff in, and you got to go through a metal detector. And, you know, like people will talk about Universal and how sometimes like that's not the most guest friendly experience. But you know what? Universal's not having it, and they're not putting up with it. And they're not going to have people holding their phone and doing stupid stuff on roller coasters. It's safety first. And eventually when those kind of restrictions come down and Disney isn't the same place that it was, everyone's going to look at that and we're going to blame management, and you cannot blame management. You have to blame us that we have started to push the envelope, and it is 1000% for virality. People don't just do this for the sake of being like, oh, that's silly and stupid. They do it to tape it and to photograph it. They do it for social media. Social media is when we look back 30 years from now, I think we're going to look back at this period as a real come to Jesus moment of, as a society, how did we interact or react to this technology? Did we allow it to ruin society as a whole, or did we allow it to be a tool? Because I'm going to be honest with you, man, the more and more that I look at social media sometimes, the more I don't think it's a good thing for the human race.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to counter that one point because I do believe in exactly what you're saying. It can also be used for positive.
It could.
Look, what do we do here at Chip and Company? And I always tell people when people are like, oh, well, you guys write articles. But bottom line, what are we doing? We're selling the dream of what Disney is. To us, Disney is something special. It's magical. It's where I want my kids to grow up. Those moments in life that you get here are so wonderful. That's what we're selling. We're selling that dream. And social media for us helps us get this all together. So it's quite amazing to be able to be part of that. And I don't know. I think what you have is right on. So, well, Marc, that will do it for another episode of And Company. You don't want to miss this week's Chip and Company Podcast Network exclusive Disney legend and icon Jodie Benson that we recorded last week. Please go back and check out that episode that we recorded last Friday. What an amazing time we had. Make sure you check out the other episodes that we have done over the past few days. Listen, next week we are going to be able to drop you basically all the podcasts we normally would. If there's a delay or anything, it is because we are getting ready for D23 Expo. While we're at D23 Expo, we will be doing some recording and podcasting from our hotel room, from the showroom floor, along with interviews and meetings with some of the most amazing Disney content creators. Not only that, but I mean like Dan Poppenmeyer of Phineas and Ferb and who knows, from The Simpsons. And we got a whole lot of information coming up. So, Marc,
yes,
thank you so much for such a wonderful episode. I am so glad you had to calm down after that hot take. Marc was stewing for a second. Now
I needed a chamomile tea. Yeah, I'm good. I had a Snickers. Good. I'm okay.
As always, Marc, in the amazing words of Tron, end of line.
End of line. Hey guys, Diz Life Marc here, and I want to tell you all about the official travel partner here at Chip & Company. Let our good friend Sarah at Destination to Travel help you plan your next Disney vacation. Sarah specializes in planning dream vacations for your family. She's an authorized Disney vacation planner, and she can help with every step of your magical vacation. The best thing is that her services are 100% free. Want to travel beyond Disney? Sarah has you covered there too. Want to find out more? Fill out a trip request form over at the website at Chip & Co. or email her directly at sarahsolberg@d2travel.com. What are you waiting for? Start planning that dream vacation today. Email her at sarahsolberg@d2travel.com.